Thought I would do a little beginning of July garden tour to document all that's going on in the garden. Here we have the entrance to the garden with the black-eyed Susan vine and the cardinal climber vine. It's already reaching clear up to the tippy top. These front beds, I didn't plant anything other than pollinating flowers to attract all the beneficial insects into the garden. This sage plant came back from last year, which is cool. So in this bed we have all the herbs in this corner. We have the sage, this is basil, and then parsley, a whole bunch of it, sweet marjoram, some zinnias. Can't have a garden without zinnias. Some random pea plants that haven't really done anything. I think it got too hot too fast for these little pea plants. And then this is my carrots right here in the middle, looking pretty. And then this is the very first year I planted sweet potatoes. And so this is all sweet potatoes here on this edge. And then I have them again over on this edge of the bed. And I've never planted sweet potatoes, so we will see what they do. And then here, same thing. I planted the broccoli and cauliflower, and it got too hot too fast, but I have nice leafy plants, and so my rabbits benefit from those. I snap some leaves off for them every day and take them out to them, and they love them. And then here is my sugar snap peas. If you can see, the sun's and they're starting to come on. We've actually enjoyed a few of them, my son and I. I didn't even know he liked sugar snap peas until this year. So we got a few of them that we can harvest and eat. And then under this archway we have bird bath and a flower pot. And so on this archway is the peas. And over here is our pea plants, which they look awesome. They don't seem to be affected at all by the heat, but we're just starting to get some flowers. So hopefully we'll be getting some peas soon. Not sure. And then in here, tucked away behind the peas, is celery. And they're looking pretty and doing really well. A whole bunch of it. And then over on this other side, I planted some green onions from the grocery store. After I used them, I plant the roots and turned into these beautiful flowers that, as you can see, pollinators love. I love anything that draws pollinators into the garden. We'll just take a look at what's going on this side since we're over here. This is my thyme. And then we have a rogue cilantro plant that just sprouted up. So I'm letting it go to seed. I'll collect the seed from that. And the flowers are drawing more beneficials. And last year I planted from seed this great mammoth bronze fennel. And I did not know it was a perennial. I've read it's a perennial for a few years and then you have to replant it, but it is ginormous. I don't even know if you can see how big it is, but it kind of overtakes this bed a bit. But it's pretty and it will flower, and like I said, bring in beneficials. You can harvest the fronds. They taste like black licorice. The seeds I'm going to save after the flowers bloom for dried fennel for flavoring sausages and other yummy things. And in here is some more pea plants. I plant things very randomly. And here's some of my bunching onions. We have chamomile peeking out here, along with cabbage. And each year I tell myself, space things further apart. And each year I think that I do a good job when they're teeny tiny. And then they start to come on and I think I didn't do a good job. I did not space them out far enough. We have a random zucchini plant here. Something you'll notice in this garden is I like to, be creative and just put a little something here and a little something there with no rhyme or reason. Here's my zucchini plant. It's got lots of beautiful flowers, and so I'm hoping to get zucchini soon. Here's another zucchini plant doing well so far. Just trying our best to avoid the dreaded vine borers, which I seem to always struggle with each year. And then on this trellis, so this trellis going over, we have the cucumbers. And they're just starting to take off. It took them a little while to get going, but they are definitely going now. And on this trellis also we have the cardinal climber plant. More beneficials, the marigolds. Here's the back side of the zucchini bed. Here's some more cabbage. A random broccoli plant that I've been harvesting the leaves for the rabbits. I don't know how it got there, but like I said, the rabbits are not complaining. This is that bronze fennel. Look how huge it is. Something I find fun is volunteer plants, and we had some nasturtiums planted over here last year, and I came out today and found beautiful nasturtium flower. They sprouted. I love when we have volunteer things that pop up here and there in the garden. In the pots down in front we have this is mint, I believe, just mint. Some more flowers for the beneficials. Over here is in this pot, is catmint. And I had planted that in the garden bed and learned very quickly that you do not plant it in your garden bed. And so thankfully I dug it up in time and it did not overtake the garden bed, but now it lives happily in that plant or that pot. Right here we have my hot pepper bed. I've got orange spice jalapeno, pumpkin spice jalapenos, lemon spice jalapeno, sugar rush peach peppers, cayenne peppers. I'm very excited. Peppers are my favorite. If you would have asked me probably even 3 years ago what my favorite thing to grow was and what my favorite vegetable, I would have told you tomatoes. But I have learned I love all kinds of peppers. And on the front of this pepper bed, we planted nasturtium. Nasturtium is a wonderful beneficial plant for pollinators. It will attract the aphids away from plants you don't want them in, and the aphids don't seem to hurt the nasturtium, but it helps keep them away from the plants you don't want them to hurt. And in this bed was our garlic bed, and we planted several different varieties: soft neck, hard neck, elephant garlic. I planted soft neck last year was my first year to harvest, and so I wanted to try something different, and I was able to harvest garlic scapes off the hardneck this year, which was cool. I freeze dried those, and I have powdered them up and made a cool green garlic salt. And then right now I have planted, which they're just starting to come up, little dwarf sunflowers. Planted some beans just to fill this bed in and experiment. This is another beautiful beneficial plant. It's called bee balm. And as you can see, the bees love it. Right in the entrance of the garden, when you walk straight in, is the strawberry bed. Looking beautiful and lush and full. We got a good amount of strawberries out of there this year. And then this is my strawberry mint. It's good for making teas. And as you can see, we have some volunteer strawberry plants that I'll be digging out of there and transferring them to our orchard. I like to call it the food forest. So we're back to the beginning of the garden, and so we're going to go now to the other side and see what we have planted. Same thing with this bed. It's the entryway. I've never planted this many flowers, but I made a deal with myself this year not to put tomatoes in these raised beds because they just overtake them and hang over, and like I said, I struggle with spacing as it is, and so I just thought it'd be pretty to have a whole bunch of pollinating flowers and zinnias, salvia, petunias, sweet alyssum. All these were grown by seed except for the purple petunias. I did purchase those this year, but I'm going to be saving the seeds from them. We have bachelor buttons coming on and cosmos. I cannot wait. On this end are gomphrena seeds that I saved. Just a pretty little flower. It's so pretty in flower arrangements. Once everything starts blooming, I can't keep my girls out of here. They have discovered how fun it is to come out and clip the pretty flowers from the garden and make bouquets for the room. Here's some more sweet potatoes that I planted along this side. And this is my yellow summer squash. Look how massive. No summer squash yet. I've done a little peek. Lots of buds. I'm very hopeful. Again, my goal is to protect it from the dreaded vine borer. I'm always on the lookout in the squash bugs. Look on the back of the leaves and see if you see any of the eggs. Last night I did find a few. I think it was on this leaf, and I was able to save them by squishing all those eggs and getting them off there. Coming down here is the sweet potatoes. And then more beautiful pepper plants. And then on this trellis is some more cucumbers. Just starting to climb and flower, and before long I'm hoping to have cucumbers. Cucumbers are a favorite of my female pig. She loves cucumbers, Fernie girl. Then over here we have more beneficials on this side, along with the marigolds and the salvia, petunias. Oh, we have some random dill also in these beds that have popped up. And in this front bed, we have the massive oregano plant. I harvested a whole bunch of it early before it got too woody. Looks like I need to do another harvest. And I freeze dried it. So now I'll have oregano to cook with and all kinds of fun things. Over here, is my catmint plant that also is good for beneficials and it has medicinal qualities. Again, some strawberries that rooted themselves into it. Over here is my lemon mint plant that you can barely see because the strawberries have overtaken it and there's some grass in there. So I'm going to need to take those out to the food forest. Now, my rule of having no tomatoes in the raised beds, well, this was the one exception. I had one Dr. Witchy's tomato plant left, and I love Dr. Witchy's. I was not about to discard it, and so I found a pot, so I wasn't breaking my rule, and it is got a beautiful home in this pot, and it is growing so strong and healthy. Here's some more random strawberry plants that need to go out. Here is my spearmint. Another pot of random strawberries that need to go out right there in the center. And then some more cucumbers right here, and petunias, more pepper plants and random dill. Here's some dill about to flower. And we have actually, my son has been in here as well, eating the banana peppers. We have lots of banana peppers forming. So that's exciting. My favorite thing to do with banana peppers is pickle them. We got onions growing in between the pepper plants. I am not good at growing onions. I've tried several years and I will keep trying because I love onions. And so I just trying a different method this year. And then look at all those tiny little paprika peppers. Oh my goodness. I'm excited. I'm going to try this year to smoke the peppers and make my own smoked paprika. Again, along this bed is marigolds and petunias for the pollinators. Lots more peppers. I planted a ton of red peppers this year because I love roasted red peppers. And I planted a ton of green bell peppers that I can freeze to pull out and use all throughout the year. Shishitos are in this bed also. Those are a favorite of mine and my son's. We love to blister them, and there's just nothing like a hot blistered shishito sprinkled with salt. And for the first year ever, I'm growing Brussels sprouts. And I have two plants here. Look at this beautiful plant. And then right next to it, this one looks like Swiss cheese. So I've been picking off the little caterpillars that I've been finding, but for whatever reason, this plant tasted extra good to them, and so they were eating off of that. In this back corner, in this big arch trellis, is my borge. And then over here is a whole bunch of calendula. One's about to open. We'll have to take a sneak over there. Those are great for beneficials. And one thing cool about borge is it acts as a green compost. You can chop it down and put it in your garden beds and it will literally compost. Adds a lot of nutrients to your soil. There's my peppers. I've not seen too many peppers forming over here. Lots and lots of buds, but not very many peppers. And then this is some more cucumbers. And before I take you to the in-ground garden, I'm going to go look at this side. As you can see, we have some volunteer nasturtiums. Love them. Oh, look at, there's a pretty flower in here I haven't seen yet. So pretty. Here's some little mini marigolds being overtaken by peppers. And then here's the borage plant. And here's the calendula. I cannot wait. There's so many buds. That one's about to open. I'm going to freeze dry those and make some salves and lotions. And then, so as you walk into the garden, this is my raised bed garden, and then this is the in-ground garden. And we did some crop rotation this year, and we planted the corn and the green beans here. And there's tons and tons and tons of flowers. These are the contender green beans. They're bush beans. And we just dry the beans and save the seeds each year. And this is our sweet corn. It's supposed to be knee-high by the 4th of July. And this guy is shoulder high by the 4th of July. The rest of them are close, waist high, doing well. Then our potatoes are over here. Lots and lots of potatoes. We love potatoes. We planted a few gold potatoes and a few russet potatoes. And then we had 4 random holes over here, and I've tried to grow watermelon. It is a failure. I can never get one to ripen properly, and so the pigs enjoyed many, many, many watermelon. But this year I decided to grow. These are Cherokee bush pumpkins, and so got those growing. I'm excited. I absolutely love pumpkins. I love decorating for the fall. My pigs love to eat pumpkins. And then along this cattle panel, I have my tomatoes. This is my favorite cherry tomato, which it's getting little bitties on it. That's a champagne bubble. It's a yellow tomato. And then this is I believe a Kellogg's breakfast. And then I have tons of Roma tomatoes. I did a lot of paste tomatoes for canning, making tomato sauce. But there's some beautiful tomatoes on these plants. I'm just waiting for them to start to blush, because then you know it's not going to be long and you'll be eating a beautiful tomato. I like to make salsa with the Roma tomatoes also. This year I planted Amish paste, Roma VF, and oh goodness, I can't remember. It was a super something, but it's a hybrid. So looks like I need to get out here and tie up some of my tomatoes. They're just growing like crazy. And toward this side, we have my slicing tomatoes. I have Dr. Witchy's, Kellogg's Breakfast, Paul Robeson. Those are my favorites. I have tried many, many varieties of tomatoes, and those are the ones that I like the best. So that's what I'm growing. Here's my whole cattle panel of tomatoes. And then I have a little sunflower growing down here. So hopefully we'll have a cute little sunflower at the end of this row. But this is my garden, you guys. This is where I do all my growing, preserving. I come out here probably at least, I would say 3 times a day. Morning, noon, and evening. And I love to bring my family in here and show them any tiny little development. And a lot of times I don't even have to ask them to come in. They just come in to see all the different things that are growing and happening in here. I have a very picky family, but it's kind of funny. My son, he comes out here and he will be willing to try any type of pepper. He's willing to try anything we're growing from the garden because he gets to see where it comes from. At the corner over here, I forgot to show you, is a seedless Concord grape. And every year we say we're going to cut it back and train it, and every year we forget and it just goes crazy, and then it's too late and we don't want to cut it back. But it is just loaded with grapes. Right now we have a nest inside of here, a robin's nest. You might be able to hear her. She's not very happy with me. Oops. See, there she is. She says, please leave my baby alone. But I've been feeding her on the ground some mealworms and sunflower seeds. And I have brought this bird bath back here for her to enjoy. But that's the garden. Beginning of July 2023. Thanks for taking time with me and walking through my garden. I loved having you. I loved to document all that we have going on.